So here's my surefire recipe for making beer. You start with water, you add some Germans. Sooner or later, you're going to end up with beer. St. Louis certainly had the ingredients. Water from the Mississippi River, had lots of Germans, and it had that little something extra, all these caves. In fact, this whole neighborhood is built on top of one. Perhaps St. Louis's best-known cave is Cherokee Cave, because for about 10 years, until 1960, you could pay to take a guided tour through these Southside caverns. But the cave entrance happened to be right in the pathway of the brand-new Interstate 55, and that ended that. Only a portion of the cave, though, was destroyed. Most of it still sits under the old Lemp Brewery and the historic Demenil and Lemp mansions, and there's plenty of history still down there. Back in the 1800s, the Lemps used their cave for business and for pleasure. Most of the entrances to Cherokee Cave are sealed shut or locked, but cave explorer Earl Hancock has been down here before, and he knows it pretty well and can get you in through one of the old brewery entrances. Sometimes a geologist or a historian will ask to be brought down here. The official reason today was to take some pictures to add to the photographic documentation of cave features.
Refridge door, so we passed them on the way in.
We need to catch them.
But word spreads pretty quickly among cave enthusiasts, and most of them showed up today just because you don't get many chances to get inside Cherokee Cave anymore. And Earl let us come along as well.
We need to ask Earl.
Okay, Earl, so we came down into the basement, sub-basement.
Yes.
Came through the door. This is the real cave itself. This
Yes.
is natural.
We're coming into a natural solution cave. What we've just come through was either man-made or man-modified to where there's very little semblance of a real cave. But what we're in here is natural solution passage. This is the work that the water has done in creating this cave.
How big is this?
There's a total of 2,400 feet of passage. It was mapped pretty thoroughly in 1964. And before they did the demolition for the highway. And so there was 2,400 feet of passage then. There's probably 2,100 feet of passage now. It's mostly this size, walking passage, 12 foot high, 20 foot wide.
So this is pretty typical of what you'd find around South St. Louis?
Caves, yes, this looks like St. Louis Cave. The walls are kind of dark, probably because the first people in here carried torches. They didn't have electric lights. They were burning kerosene or burning wood, and that smoked up the walls, and that's why they're so dark.
Now, what we saw earlier on, I mean, the advantage of this cave for Old Man Lemp was that you could put beer down here and keep it cool.
It was cold.
I mean, that's why the brewery's here. They didn't find it after they built the brewery. They came here because of the cave.
He brewed his beer on 2nd and Walnut, down by the south leg of the arch, and transported it up here until 1860s when they started building the brewery buildings here, 1850s. So the first few years he transported it to this spot just because the caves were here and they were cold.
Right. How cold is it in here?
It's 57 degrees. This hole here was used as an ice hole.
Oh, yeah.
This hole goes up to the surface. It's in the middle of the intersection of Demenil and Cherokee Street. And they used to bring ice in and drop it down in the cave, and they lowered the temperature of the cave to 35 degrees.
Oh, wow. Earl, you see plenty of evidence that people have been using this cave or visiting this cave. You see a little bit of garbage, some stones, bricks, pipes, that sort of thing. But you still find evidence that this is a cave that's still being made into a cave.
It's still a living cave, yeah.
Yeah.
As long as water flows into a cave, you're going to have formations growing like this. This one's probably less than 50 years old.
What is that exactly?
It's a soda straw. It's called a soda straw because it's hollow, and the water's coming down through the center of that formation. It's forming a stalagmite on the ground, and this will continue to get longer. And when this end plugs up, when this end calcifies, then it will start to get fatter because the water will grow around the outside and deposit its mineral content.
And you say, how long to make this formation here?
That could be as old as 50 years, as young as 25 years.
So when people go through caves and they take off something little like that, they're taking off maybe 50 years of work there.
And you could pop it off and not even realize that you had broken it.
Now this is a man-made passage, obviously wall and a doorway here, but this room back here, what was this used for?
This was the theater. The Lemp family used this as a theater after they quit using it to lager their beer.
I mean, as a live stage actors sort of a...
Yeah, I think that Cherokee Cave was in its heyday. They had actors on the Hippodrome circuit that would come and entertain at Cherokee Cave. And not to be outdone, the family decided they would have their own personal private
So they had the
theater.
stage up here, seating here. You've got, what do you have up here?
Those are lights. The lights, they had electricity in the brewery in 1888. The city didn't get electrified until 1904. And so they had lights here long before the city did. The rubble on the ground here is plaster on wire lath scenery.
Yeah, you can see it's painted here, the bright blue.
Well, that's a
part of the-
Bavarian forest you have your hand on there.
Okay.
But you can see a line that between this blue paint and the natural cave ceiling. This line right here is where the scenery extended from the floor up to the ceiling.
Oh, wow. What we're talking here is this is the back door entrance to the cave, right?
This is the old spiral staircase that used to go up to Adam Lemp's property above. This is the entrance that the actors used to come down behind the scenery to await their turn out in front.
Now this is not a natural entrance.
No, this was excavated to the surface. This spiral staircase was broken down. They sledgehammered the stair treads off to block this entrance off.
So this was just part of the playground,
Adam
part of their basement, huh?
Yeah, Adam Lemp's house was right upstairs.
Okay. There were once 50 known caves under St. Louis, but as the city grew, most of them were sealed, filled in, or purposely collapsed. Cherokee Cave is one of the few known survivors.
Watch your step coming in here. This is slippery. Okay, now this is... You're standing in a swimming pool. Believe it or not, you're in a swimming pool. This is what's left of the Lemp swimming pool. You can see the edges of the wall around there. I used to doubt the availability, I mean the potential for a swimming pool in a cave, and I didn't realize that when you have millions of dollars and boilers upstairs, you can have a spa. So it's probably the Lemp spa rather than the Lemp swimming pool.
So when was this actually operational? When were they using this?
The family started using it probably about 1880, 1890. So it was a family thing. It was never a public operation. It was just for family and guests.
They had a lot of money.
A lot of money.
Here, I think the next one we want to get is this here, the Peccary Bones over this way. You want a wide angle of it.
Some of the first serious study of this cave took place in 1945 when a man named Lee Hess bought the property. He was the one who would open it up to tours, but only after doing some extensive exploring and surveying and making some surprising discoveries.
There we go.
Here's a peccary bone that they discovered as they were digging this cave open here.
Now, peccary is what exactly?
It's a javelina. It's a wild pig. It's
Keep
a
going.
bone
Okay,
with
wild
tusks.
pig, I get.
Yeah,
Right, okay.
This one was a big one. It was about 400 pounds. Jim, this is the jawbone of an immature peccary right here. It was discovered a couple of years ago and decided to leave it there for the future paleontologists to have a look at. That's one more of the peccaries that was in here.
Now, these are not animals, again, that died here and got washed. You're not talking about a whole skeleton.
No,
here. Bits and pieces washed through it.
These are all separate bones. There's no complete skeletons as such in here.
Now, Earl, this is the part of the cave that was actually on a tour, right?
Yes, this is the commercial tour. This was the Cherokee Cave tour. And we're coming up close to Cherokee Lake.
Right, and the steps up there and the hand railing, that was all put in to get people through here.
Yes. Yeah, nice level walkway, isn't it?
Right.
Nice way to go caving.
The thing that surprised me was that we don't really know how big this cave is right now. I mean, it's from here to the ceiling, but they dug this out to make it this big.
Yeah.
How deep is it? How big is this cave?
Well, we know where the ceiling is. The floor has been excavated down to a depth of 15 feet, and the sediment still goes. So we don't know where the floor of the cave is. It could be a very deep canyon passage that we're in.
So the tour would continue back on through here and down these steps as well.
Cherokee Lake and back to the entrance.
Mm-hmm. So it was a circular tour?
Yes.
For a lot of safety and legal reasons, people are kept out of Cherokee and other urban caves these days. But it is still important to know that they are here, because a city is more than what we see from the ground up. St. Louis goes much deeper than most of us realize.